Alrighty. I was going to sing Little Bunny Foo Foo as a good intro because my music isn't streaming right now for some reason, but I'm not going to do that for you because, frankly, it'd be scary. Alright, so let's begin with what we're going to do today. The video we're going to watch today, or what we're going to do on, I believe it's going to be Monday now because my daughter is sick. So, what we're going to do on Monday is going to be 9.5, all right? And this is 9.5. Now, we've done some stuff with factoring, okay? Hopefully everybody remembered how to factor. You had 2 days where we kind of did some factoring stuff. Get it all taken care of. Today we're going to do something completely new, okay? There's another way we can solve a quadratic, all right? We can solve a quadratic equation in the form x squared plus bx, okay? So there's no a, all right, by adding b divided by 2, so whatever b is, divide it by 2 and square it. All right, and we add that to this. All right, so for example, let's take an example. Right here I have no a. I have negative 16 as my b. So I take negative 16, divide it by 2, square it, which is 64, and I add that. That becomes my new c. All right? All right. So x squared minus 16x plus 64, all right, becomes a perfect square. We call this completing the square. And there is a visual behind this, but for right now, we're going to deal with the algebra part of it, all right? So the algebra part of it just tells us that, oh, you know what? This might work if I turn it on. Let's try turning it on. Oh, there it goes. Okay. So the algebra part of this, whoa, don't want that. Okay, if I was to factor this, what are the factors of 64 that add together to give me negative 8 or negative 16? Well, I just told you it's x minus 8 and x minus 8. That's an 8. Okay, that's where the idea of a perfect square comes from, is that the two factors that we're going to create are the same thing. Okay, it's that special type of trinomial that we learned back, I think, in 8.7. All right, so biggest thing that you need to know is what we're trying to create. We're trying to create this, a perfect square trinomial. Okay, perfect square trinomial, and we do that by creating a new c. All right, and remember, c is our constant. All right, so let's try a couple examples. There's a lot going on here, but it's actually pretty simple. It's actually very simple to do. Okay, so find c to complete the square. So I have these c's, and I'm going to find my new c, or find what the value would be to complete the square. All right, key term, complete the square. So again, I'm going to do just what I did on the other side. I'm going to take 10, divide it by 2, and square it. Okay, 10 divided by 2 is 5. 5 squared is 25. So c is 25. So I end up with x squared plus 10x plus 25. And I can check and make sure that I'm absolutely right by just factoring. What are the factors of 25 that add together to give me 10? It's 5 and 5. So they're both the same. So I'd end up with x plus 5, x plus 5. All right. Okay, let's try the next one. Okay, so once again, I want a new c. Okay, this time it's an odd number, which means I'm going to end up with a fraction. So negative 9 is my b, divided by 2 squared. Okay, that just is 81 over 4. Just square both numbers, that's all that is. 81 over 4 is my new c. You got to be comfortable with that. Whenever you have an odd number as b, you're going to end up with a fraction. Okay, and you just got to be comfortable with that. So what is this in factored form? Again, what are my factors of 81 over 4 that add together to give me negative 9? It would be negative 9 halves. So x minus 9 halves, x minus 9 halves. Okay. Number 3. Why don't you hit pause? Why don't you try 3? Okay. Give it the old college try. See if you can find out what C is, and then check and make sure it works. Okay, do that now. Alright, well, hopefully all you did was take negative 20. Hopefully if anybody made a mistake, that was the only mistake you made, was you might have took positive 20. So negative 20 divided by 2. And I'm going to square that. Negative 20 divided by 2 is negative 10. Negative 10 squared is 100. So this is x squared minus 20x plus 100. Okay? Next one, try it again. Nice and easy one here for you. So hit pause, try it out, and hopefully you get it this time. Alright, so looking at this, again, my b is 4 divided by 2 squared equals 4. That's what makes this one so nice. So it's just x squared plus 4x plus 4. 4 is my new c. Alright, now check it. What are the factors of 4 that add together to give me 4? Again, we have success if it's the same number, and it's 2 and 2, same number, so that works out just great. This is a 4. I'm noticing it looks like a 9. Okay, so let's see what else we can do with this. Now that you kind of got the gist of what completing the square means, all right, let's see what else we can do with this. So, one step further. Let's solve each equation by completing the square. So now we're going to solve by completing the square. And if you'll notice, what we have is we have basically some c's. That we already have a c here. There's something here, right? But it doesn't factor. If you look at this, what are the factors of 15? Negative 15 that add together to give me 7. They don't exist. Okay? So you got two options. One is complete the square. The other is quadratic formula. You remember that bad long boy? So those of you that don't, it's the opposite of b, plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac, all that divided by 2a. Okay, those are your two options. So complete the square is kind of a nice option here. But what we have to do, and I'm actually going to do number 6 first, what we have to do is we have to get rid of this 15. So I'm going to take g squared plus 7g, and I'm going to move 15 to the other side. Now don't forget it becomes positive, okay? Because we have to add 15 to both sides. What you do to one side, you got to do the other. And then I'm going to add in just this plus c. So it looks exactly like what we did before. I'm trying to find a new c. Okay, and to do that, I'm going to take b, I'm going to divide it by 2, and I'm going to square it. Okay, that's, again, remember, fractions don't change nothing. Don't change nothing. So we end up with g squared plus 7g plus 49 fourths equals 15 plus 49 fourths. Okay? What you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So if you add that beautiful new c to one side, you need to add that beautiful new c to the other side. Okay? So this becomes, again, we're going to factor this to solve. To solve, we got to factor it. It's a quadratic. We got to factor it. So we end up with g plus 7 halves quantity squared. I know that because they're both 7 halves. That's what I have to have. That makes this work. Equals 15 plus 49. I'm going to turn 15 into a fraction over 4. So it's going to be 60 fourths. So it's going to be 109 fourths. Okay? And then solve. So square root this side. Square root this side. Alright? And these cancel. The square root and the square cancel. And we end up with g plus 7 halves equals plus or minus the square root of 109 over 4, which simplifies, and we'll do in a second. And the last step is g equals 7 halves, negative 7 halves, plus or minus square root of 109 over 4. Okay? So remember this, we're just moving 7 halves to the other side. If I move it to the other side, you got to subtract it off of both sides. That's how I get negative 7 halves. Alright, plus or minus square root of 109 over 4. Alright, let's try this one. Now this one, We don't have to move anything. 30 is already on the other side of the equal sign. Okay, the constant has to be on the other side of the equal sign. Write that down. The constant has to be on the other side of the equal sign. I want x squared and x alone. Okay, my new c is just going to be 4 divided by 2 squared, which is 4. So I end up with x squared plus 4x plus 4 equals 30 plus 4. What you do to one side, you got to do to the other. So if I add 4 to one side, I got to do it to the other. Okay? This factored is x plus 2 quantity squared, just like 8.7, that special type of factoring, equals 34. Square root both sides. Okay? Is there a perfect square that comes out of 34? Let's see, we get 17 and 2. 10, 11, 12, nope, 13, nope, 14. Yeah, I don't think so. So we end up with these canceling again. So x plus 2 equals plus or minus square root of 34. Alright, and then x equals 2 plus or minus square root of 34. Okay? If this doesn't simplify, just leave it as is. Just leave it as is. Alright? Alright, next one. Number 7. I'm going to go ahead and do this because we're running short on time. So, again, first step, I got to get rid of this 21. What are the factors of 21 that add together to give me 6? Negative 6? They don't exist. So I'm going to try complete the square. Move 21 over, v squared minus 6v plus, I'm going to leave a blank for whatever my new c is going to be, equals negative 21. Okay? 6, or negative 6, divided by 2 squared is negative 3, which is 9. Okay? Now, v squared minus 6v plus 9 equals negative 21 plus 9, which is just negative 12, which means v minus 3 quantity squared. I'm factoring now. This is factoring. What are the factors of 9 that add together to give me negative 6? It's negative 3, negative 3. That's why I put squared. Equals negative 12. Square root, and we have a problem. Can we take the square root of a negative? No, we cannot. No soul. No solution. Alright? We'll actually do this in class. So number 8 and number 9, be ready for in class. Alright, see you.